Hello students, I am Dr. Saliha Jamal, Faculty Department of Geography, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. So we are here to discuss the topics of week 2, that is from the Earth's sphere, that is atmosphere. So whenever we talk about the atmosphere, we know it is a thick layer of gases which envelops our planet Earth, which is very much critical and important to sustain all forms of life forms on this earth. When we talk about it extends, it is estimated that it extends from 16 to up to 29,000 km from the sea level. It surrounds our earth and retain its position because of the gravitational force of the earth. And we know every rotating body has its own force, that is the gravitational force. It protects our earth from the damaging sun radiation, it protects our earth from the meteoroids, and it provides various necessary gases, and it also helps a lot in regulating the temperature of earth. That's why we can say a clear understanding of the atmospheric components and the functions provided by it will ensure that how this atmosphere play a very important role in Earth's ecosystem and how the human activities influences the atmosphere. So further, we will start first by knowing the composition of the atmosphere. Whenever we see towards the composition of the atmosphere, we have a layer of homosphere where the different gases are in particular balance. If we talk about that, the major ones are that is nitrogen, that is up to 78%, approximating I can say that it is up to 8.08%. And if we talk about the second most important gas, that is the oxygen, 20.95, without which no life form can exist. Then we have carbon dioxide, 0.04%, a very important greenhouse gas, and there are various trace and we can say inert gases also present in the atmosphere like argon, neon, helium, methane, krypton, hydrogen, xenon, ozone and water vapor. So this is what I can say about the composition of the atmosphere. Now each and every gas has its role on its planet Earth. Finding out its significance of the gases which are present in the atmosphere. For example, if we talk about the nitrogen, we know nitrogen is very much essential for protein, amino acids and nucleic acids, and it is very important for the development and growth of the plants. We know that with the help of certain bacteria, these plants fix atmospheric nitrogen in the form so that they can use. The nitrogen also contributes to the atmospheric stability due to its inert nature, and also I can say that indirectly it also influences the climate through its role in nitrogen cycle. The second important gas here is, which I am going to discuss, is oxygen. Talking about oxygen, you must all be knowing that without oxygen, none of the life form can exist. It plays a very important role in respiration of almost all the living organism, and generally I can say oxygen is produced, or we can say it is a byproduct of photosynthesis which supports the food chain. Oxygen also supports combustion, enabling the energy production and various industrial processes, and any form of imbalance can surely impact the terrestrial and the ecosystems. Talking about the argon, as we know, it is a non-reactive gas, so it does not readily combine with any of the compounds. So it is generally used in industrial applications like welding, lighting, and it plays a minor role in biological process, but it is essential for various technologies. When we talk about the carbon dioxide, we know it is a very important greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide is one of the important gas for photosynthesis, and we know that when the composition, or we can say carbon dioxide level increases, the cause may be the natural cause or may the human activities. It will surely contribute to the global warming. Carbon dioxide thus regulates the earth temperature through its greenhouse properties, and it also manages the emissions which is very much important for combating climate change, specifically the global warming. Talking about the water vapor, which plays a very important role in water cycle and weather pattern. Whether we talk about the cloud formation, whether we talk about the different forms of precipitation, whether we talk about the hydrological cycle, etc. And it is one of the most abundant greenhouse gas which traps heat in order to regulate the temperature. We know that it is the characteristics of greenhouse gas to trap heat, and due to which temperature rises. So water vapor is very much essential, we know, for the cloud formation also, precipitation also, and it provides also fresh water on ground. The next gas we are going to discuss here is ozone. It is a crucial component of atmospheric ozone layer which absorbs a harmful ultraviolet radiations. So mainly we can say if it is beneficial when it is, we generally found this ozone layer or the major concentration of ozone in stratospheric layer, and it is beneficial when it is in stratosphere, but it can be a pollutant at a ground level. So its quality changes as we say according to its location. Now it also influences weather and climate patterns, affecting the temperature and the air quality of different regions. Talking about methane, we know that methane is also a greenhouse gas and it is very much effective than carbon dioxide in trapping heat produced by various natural processes like human activities, even including the agricultural activities. So it increases the levels and contribute to the climate change, that is in global warming. It reduces the emissions in essentials for mitigating the climate impacts. So we have talked about the major gases previously. Now we are going to discuss about the layers of the atmosphere. So when seeing this diagram, you can see here that there are different layers of the atmosphere, that is you can see here troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Now we are going to discuss one by one. When we discuss about the troposphere, we know that it is generally contained 75% of the atmospheric mass, and generally all the weather phenomena, whether cloud formation, rain, storms occur in this layer. In this layer, temperature decreases with increasing altitude at the rate of 6.5 degrees centigrade per kilometer, which is termed as normal lapse rate. Here the air is denser as compared to the other layers of the atmosphere. As we know that most of the gases accumulates are present in this layer, most of the greenhouses are also present in this layer. So the greenhouse effects occurs here, where gases trap heat to keep the earth warm. Talking about the second layer of the atmosphere, which extends from the tropopause. Tropopause is the zone where the troposphere meets with the stratosphere. So it is a meeting zone known as tropopause. So it extends from tropopause to stratopause. That generally it extends on an average up to the 50 kilometer. So this is the layer which is mainly identified by the concentration of ozone layer. Major concentration can be found up to 35 kilometer, and unlike the troposphere, here temperature increases with increasing altitude because of the presence of the ozone, which absorbs ultraviolet radiations. That's why we can say the ozone layer absorbs and scatters this ultraviolet radiation, protecting the life forms on the earth. And as we know, because of the stable characteristics of stratosphere, minimal weather activity can be seen. Mesosphere starts from the stratopause and it extends up to 80 kilometer, or it ranges from 80 to 85 kilometer. It is regarded as one of the coldest layer of the atmosphere, as the temperature drops to as low as minus 80 degrees centigrade. Means here temperature decreases with increasing altitude, and as compared to the other layers like troposphere, here the air pressure is extremely low with only trace amounts of oxygen. Generally it is very much beneficial because meteors burn up in these layers, thus causing the phenomena of shooting stars. So the mesopause marks the coldest points of the Earth's atmosphere, and as we know, the meteors slow down in this mesosphere and burns up, thus protecting the Earth's surface from the frequent impacts. Next layer is thermosphere. Here we can say temperature increases drastically with increasing altitude, reaching up to 1700 degrees centigrade. But due to the low density of the particle, it wouldn't feel hot. It contains a sublayer, that is the ionosphere, a layer of free charge particles where solar radiations ionizes the gases, which is very much important for radio communications. The phenomena like aurora borealis, aurora australis, which is also known as northern and southern lights, occur because the solar winds interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. Satellites also orbit in this layer due to the lower air resistance. The last layer, that is the exosphere. It is one of the thin air is found here with extremely low densities of hydrogen and helium atoms. There is no clear boundary between the exosphere and the outer space, and particles in this layer are so sparse that they can travel hundreds of kilometers without colliding to each other. So generally we can say exosphere is termed as transitional zone between the Earth's atmosphere and the outer space. Even the spacecraft can travel through this region, and it is the home of many satellites. So these are the layers of the atmosphere: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Here you can find at a glance the comparison between the different layers of the atmosphere. As for example, we can see in temperature, in troposphere, temperature increases with increasing altitude. In stratosphere, it increases with increasing altitude. In mesosphere, it decreases with altitude. In thermosphere, high but thin atmosphere. Similarly, if we talk about the exosphere, virtually there is no atmosphere and there is no clear boundary between the exosphere and the space. So there are different key features we can say. We can find the different weather phenomena, most of the weather phenomena occurring in the troposphere and stratosphere, as it has the ozone layer. So absorption of ultraviolet radiation takes place. Similar is the case with the mesosphere. It protects us from the meteorites. Meteorites burns and cause the phenomena of shooting stars. If we talk about the thermosphere, it is very much important for radio communication, even for the movement. It has the satellites orbit. And if we talking about the functions of the atmosphere, we know that there are several functions of the atmosphere. I am going to discuss few of them. Like atmosphere is very important for regulating climate and weather patterns, because it distributes heat all across the planet, maintaining the global temperature balance. It also drives away the hydrological cycle, influencing precipitation, cloud formation, and several other weather systems, ensuring the availability of fresh water for the living things. Similarly, it also controls the wind patterns and ocean currents, affecting the regional climates. We know that wind blow from the higher pressure to the lower pressure area, and even we know about the ocean currents. It also moves under the influence of the wind and the gravitational pull of the earth. So one or the other way it is linked with the functions of the atmosphere. Overall, it can also be said that the atmosphere governs the seasonal changes by responding to the earth's tilt and solar energy distribution. Thus it regulates the climate and the weather pattern. Atmosphere is also very much helpful as it protects from the harmful radiation and the meteorites, because the ozone layer, which is present in the stratosphere, it absorbs the harmful ultraviolet radiation, and even it scatters sunlight, reducing the direct solar heating and protecting our ecosystem. The meteorites in the mesosphere burns as they enter the atmosphere, preventing the surface hazards, and also it shields the life on the earth from different solar and cosmic radiations, maintaining health and safety of flora and fauna. Thus, it is very much helpful in protecting us from harmful radiations and even from the disaster that can be caused by the meteorites. Atmosphere also supports ecosystem, as we know that one of the important gas of the atmosphere, that is oxygen, which is very much important for the respiration, and another gas like the carbon dioxide, very much important for the photosynthesis purpose. So overall it can be said that it supports the ecosystem. Not only this, it also maintains the nitrogen cycle, which is very much essential for the plant growth, because with these plants, with the help of the different bacteria, cause nitrogen fixation, that is they fix nitrogen from the atmosphere in the form that they can use it. It also enables the water cycles, which ensures the supplying fresh water in all the ecosystems. It also regulates the gaseous exchange, balancing oxygen, carbon dioxide levels for different life processes. Thus, it can be said it supports the ecosystem. It also regulates energy balance, because we know that different greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, these can trap heat and can maintain the earth temperature that becomes conducive for the habitability. Not only this also reflects solar radiations. Some of the solar radiations is absorbed, some of the solar radiations are even scattered by the different phenomena, thus preventing the excess heat from reaching the earth's surface. It also absorbs heat, regulating day and night temperature fluctuations. Not only this, the atmosphere also maintains the Earth's energy budget, which ensures balance between incoming and outgoing energy. So, it regulates overall the energy balance. So, after knowing the significance of the atmosphere, it becomes very important to know the phenomena that is associated with the atmosphere. And as we are dealing with the paper that course, that is climate change, vulnerability and adaptation. So, how this phenomena or changes in this phenomena can impact the flora and fauna of this planet Earth, that knowledge is very much necessary. So, in first we are going to discuss about the one of the most important phenomena, that is clouds. Cloud formation. Clouds are generally formed when rising warm air cools, causing the water vapor to condense into tiny droplets or ice crystals around the dust or other particles in the atmosphere. There are different types of clouds we talk about. The major ones are cumulus clouds, stratus and cirrus. Talking about the cumulus clouds, these are somewhat, we can say, puffy clouds, white in color, and when we see this cumulus cloud, it indicates the fair weather, but many times it can also grow to thunderstorms. If we talk about the stratus clouds are low altitude clouds, and we can say flat clouds which blanket the sky, which cover the sky just like a blanket, leading to overcast conditions. Talking about the cirrus clouds are thin and wispy clouds found high in the sky, although it indicates the fair weather, but it can signal sometime changes also. So, these are the major ones. There are also further subdivisions of this major ones. You can see here. I have said about the cumulus cloud. When we see the cumulus cloud, these are somewhat, we can say, puffy clouds. You can see the cumulus clouds are somewhat puffy clouds, and when we talk about the cirrus clouds and the stratus clouds are flat clouds, while when we talk about the cirrus clouds are thin and wispy clouds with a high altitude cloud. So, these are the different types of cloud which are associated with different types of weather patterns. So, what are the role of these clouds? If we talk about its role in weather, it is very much important for the precipitation, and also the clouds indicate what type of weather is approaching to a particular place such as storms or even the calm conditions, etc. If we see its climate impact, the effect of the Earth's energy balance by reflecting sunlight and trapping heat. Clouds can reflect, scatter also sunlight, and clouds can also trap heat, that is the outgoing radiation. It can trap outgoing radiation, thus increasing the temperature. So when we talk about the climate impact, it has the both by reflecting the sunlight and by trapping the heat. By reflecting sunlight, it provides cooling effect, and by trapping heat, it provides warming effect. Now talking about the fog, formation of the fog, it is generally formed when the air close to the ground cools enough for water vapor to condense into tiny liquid droplets, reducing visibility, and it generally occurs when warm air passes over the cool surfaces or during rapid cooling at night. So there are different types of fog. The most important one are radiation fog. These radiation fogs are generally formed in clear nights when the ground cools rapidly, chilling by the nearby air. And the second type, major type is advection fog. So when warm and moist air moves over the cool surfaces, just like the oceans or cold ground, then advection fog are forms. Fog formation also takes place where the warm ocean current and cool ocean currents meet each other. What are impacts? It impacts visibility because it reduces the visibility to less than even 1 kilometer, which make transportation hazardous. Vehicular transportation hazardous, certain type of accidents can take place. It also restricts the air transportation also. If we talk about its climatic effects, fog trap heat close to the ground, thus raising the local temperatures. Not only this, it contributes to the higher humidity, creating damp and chilly conditions. These are the different types of fogs. You can see radiating fogs, frontal fog, advection fog, and blocked fog. When we talk about the precipitation, its formation, there are different types of precipitation that may be in form of rain, snow, sleet, hail. Each type is developed under the different conditions. If we talk about rain, these are the water droplets which are formed when moisture condenses and becomes heavy enough to fall from the clouds. Thus, water droplets are formed. When we talk about the snow, these are the soft ice crystals that form in clouds when temperature are below freezing point and water vapor turns directly into ice without becoming liquid. Thus, the snow is formed. Talking about the sleet, these are the small ice pellets that are formed when raindrops freezes before hitting the ground on the way. That is sleet. Talking about the hail, these are the large balls or lumps of ice that forms when strong updrafts in the thunderstorms repeatedly lift the water droplets into the cold layer of the atmosphere. Hail is formed. There are different climatic influence regarding the different types of precipitation. It influences the local climate. The precipitation determines the climate into wet or dry. We may call arid, semi-arid, humid, subhumid, etc. And it also contributes to the weather variability and seasonal changes. These are the different forms of precipitation. Rain, simply the water droplets. When we talk about the ice crystals or ice flakes, we can see the sleet. These are also the ice. Hail, we can say large lumps of ice. And when we talk about the gropel is simply can be said that soft form of hail that can be said as the gropel. So these are the different forms of precipitation. Now, human impact on the atmosphere. How we are, the anthropogenic activities are impacting the atmosphere. We are impacting in n number of ways, but here I am going to discuss few of them, just like through the greenhouse gas emissions. Most important cause is burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, gas for energy, which emits a significant amount of these gas, mainly the carbon dioxide, methane, which are the greenhouse gas and which causes greenhouse effect and traps the trap more heat in the atmosphere, thus raising the temperature. Global warming. Global warming was, we can say, it is the effect of greenhouse gas, means rise in temperature of the planet can be termed as the global warming. So, increased greenhouse emission will produce a constant rise of global temperature, which will have many repercussions like melting of polar ice, which in turn will also cause the sea level rise, glaciers retreat can be caused, more frequent and severe heat waves can be observed, storms and droughts can be observed. These are few of the repercussions of the global warming. Another anthropogenic activities which impacts the atmosphere in terms of the air pollution, mainly due to the urbanization, industrialization, transportation and various agricultural activities create pollutants such as oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, etc., which can cause smog. Smog is smoke plus fog that causes smog. Mainly it is formed in the industrial area. It can also cause, pollution can also cause acid rain, that is when the precipitation, the rainwater mixes with the acids, maybe oxides of sulfur from the atmosphere. It causes acid rain, which harms ecosystem and human health, especially it causes the respiratory ailments. Another impact can be seen ozone layer depletion. Mainly it is caused by the chlorofluorocarbons, which are mainly found in the air conditions, refrigerations, aerosols, etc. These CFCs are the ozone depleting compounds and causes weakening of the ozone layer, thus increasing the risk of cancer and eye damage from higher ultraviolet radiation exposure. So, these are the references which you can refer for your further studies. Thank you.